Hey everybody, welcome back. Great to be here with you. Glad you could join me in episode 3205 of the Cabral Concept. Today we're going to be going over Inflammaging finally going mainstream. So there was an article just about 3 weeks ago in the Wall Street Journal, literally calling it Inflammaging. Inflammaging is a chronic, stealthy, and serious threat to your health, stated by the Wall Street Journal. What does it mean? What are they talking about? What now is this going to mean for the health and wellness-based industry now that more people are talking about it? Well, inflammaging has always been around. It's a buzzword. It's a catchy word. And all it really means is that inflammation meets aging, or inflammation is leading to a faster rate of aging would probably be a better way of saying it. So when you combine aging and inflammation, you get inflammaging. But what is it really saying? Well, the Wall Street Journal goes on, and rightly so, to talk about how inflammation leading to greater aging also puts you at greater risk for heart attacks, cancer, Alzheimer's, and much more, such as diabetes. So when they state that, I keep going back to, well, yes, those are the 5 mortality factors. Heart disease, high blood pressure and stroke, type 2 diabetes, cancer, and it certainly leads to that as well, as we talked about on yesterday's show, and Alzheimer's. So now that we know it leads to all of the major factors for early mortality, which is the current lifespan in your 70s, there's no way that humans should die in their 70s. There really aren't. We've got a real life expectancy of 120. Doesn't mean we're all going to hit 120. We'll be fortunate to make 100. There's no doubt about that right now. Now, do I think we can live longer in this lifetime? I absolutely do. Do I think there's going to be huge breakthroughs over the next 10 to 20 years? I absolutely do. But the whole goal is we need to keep ourselves healthy to be able to enjoy those benefits, right? So that's really important. And I even think without huge big breakthroughs, we can reach 100 based on what we know right now. And then living healthily to 120, okay, that's going to take maybe some breakthroughs, no doubt about that, because we just haven't seen that proved to be true, that the majority of people can make it to a healthy and beyond 100. But we're getting there. There's no doubt about that, and there's so much that we do know. We talk about this in high performance health all the time. So what did the article, though, go on to say? So yes, increase in heart attacks, increase in cancer, increase in Alzheimer's. But it also talked about some of the reasons why. As we age, we start to get these senescent cells in our body. We've talked about this in the Cabral Concept. Senescent cells are essentially zombie cells. They get the signal, essentially, to start to die off, and they start to shut down, but they never fully go away. So they float around under your skin, moving around as zombies with no real purpose, however, causing inflammaging or inflammation. Another thing that happens is as we get older, we can start to accumulate adiposity or an increase in adipose tissue, and specifically visceral body fat around the belly and around the organs. And when that happens, what does it do? Well, it also increases inflammation. Now, the Wall Street Journal stopped short of what it should have done, was talk about all the pollutants, the glyphosate and pesticide and chlorine and all the other harmful things, aluminum and mercury and lead, all the things that we are being exposed to on a daily basis that also create inflammation, right? So we've got things inside of our body like endogenous, so inside, senescent cells, and maybe that visceral body fat coming from the standard American diet and not enough movement, right? But we have outside things like heavy metals, viral load, pollutants, the glyphosate, the flame retardants on our fabrics that we bring into our home, like our couch, right? And our unfortunately, a lot of mattresses, glues, all those things, volatile organic compounds, which are those essentially invisible chemical off-gassing of things like insulation and paint in our home. So all of these things also create inflammation. Now, the interesting thing is this, and again, we talk about this as kind of the triage theory to old age or aging. And that's that when we're younger, we're still exposed to these things, but the body has more reserves. It has more mitochondrial energy up until our early 20s, and is able to fight these things off easier. And then eventually, and unfortunately, the battle we start to lose through our body organism, right? And that's why some people, we see them age a lot faster. There's more oxidative stress from both outside and internal causes of inflammation. And then those begin to show up on lab tests. Now, the Wall Street Journal said, I'll look at your blood work because, again, there's still conventional medicine, which I get. Nothing wrong with looking at HSCRP. It stands for high sensitivity CRP. It's like the big buzzword in conventional medicine. You need to run your HSCRP. Well, yeah, but honestly, so what? So you run your HSCRP and it ends up being, let's say, a 1 or 1.5 when it should be a 0.5 or less. Okay, or maybe it's a 3. And so you're like, whoa, I have a lot of inflammation. Okay, well, so what? Like, what is it from? Blood work it never tells you what it's from. It's not telling you what it's from. I don't care what any practitioner or doctor tells you. They don't know what it's from. They have no idea. Now, they can take educated guesses, lack of antioxidants, viral-based issue, autoimmune issue with inflammation, heavy metals. It could be a lot of different things, right? Parasites, like we can just keep going down the line. But they don't know. So I'm going to share with you in just a moment what we can do. They can also run your erythrocyte sedimentation rate, your ESR. They can look at ferritin levels. They can look at a bunch of different things to look at, is there inflammation in the body? You can even get fancy. You can look at IL-6, interleukin 6. But at the end of the day, it still doesn't matter, right? So run them if you want. I do. I still have them on my blood work, but it's not going to show you the underlying root cause. The underlying root cause of the inflammation always goes back to deficiencies. So that's lack of specific vitamins like vitamin C or nutrients like CoQ10 or vitamin D or magnesium, and omega-3s, but it can also be toxicities. It could be heavy metals. It could be candida overgrowth. It could be SIBO and leaky gut and food sensitivities, all those things as well. So running something like the Big 5 is absolutely going to give you a full profile. Run your blood work. I'm not talking you out of that. But run the underlying root cause, which is the Big 5. The Big 5 is going to look at hormones and cortisol and thyroid and vitamin D and insulin and all those great things. Run your food sensitivities, your IgG. You're going to look at minerals and metals and vitamins and gut health and omega-6 to omega-3s. That's what shows you the true underlying root cause. I can link those up today. I can't link up anything that would actually help. Unfortunately, FDA doesn't allow that. But you do get personalized planning based on running that Big 5 labs. And if you can't run the Big 5, then run something called the starter kit, aka the Vitamin Tox Test. I'll link those up today. So those will be at stephencabral.com/3205. 3205. You can run that with any integrative health practitioner, or you can run it with the EcoLife team. Your choice. Whatever you want to do works best for you. We obviously fully support that. And then what did the Wall Street Journal do to essentially sum up what you should do? They talk about treating chronic inflammation can be tricky. That's what they basically say. So we don't have an answer, and here's why. Because the drugs that are being used to treat inflammation can sometimes affect the immune system and have other consequences like non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, which could increase risk of heart attack, kidney-based issues, like the stomach ulcers, all sorts of things. Using something like acetaminophen can affect the liver and glutathione production. So, aspirin can increase internal bleeding. So there's a lot of issues that they have. And here's the problem. When all you have is pharmaceuticals, essentially a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. But the issue is that if you're using a hammer for a plastic thumbtack, most likely you're going to smash that thumbtack into smithereens when you're trying to put in a, poster on a wall. It's the wrong tool for the job. You want to actually look for what are the underlying root causes. Okay, let's replace those deficiencies. Let's take out the food sensitivities. Let's take out the things that are harming the body. Take out the heavy metals. And so we take out the toxicities, we replace the deficiencies, and the body then begins to move back to a state of homeostasis. And that works essentially through what I call the de-stress protocol. It's not one thing. Diet, exercise, stress reduction, toxin removal, rest, which is sleep, emotional-based balance, scientifically backed supplement protocols, and a success mindset. It's a success mindset to see it through. I read about that in The Rain Barrel Effect. That book is now free. You can find it at stephencabral.com. But the goal is that we begin to work on this before it becomes a full-fledged chronic disease. But if you have a chronic disease, just know that there's always an underlying root cause, and you can reverse that disease as well. So I love to see that Inflammaging is in the news. I absolutely love it. It's becoming more mainstream. The problem is when it's always viewed with that one lens of problem, pharmaceutical, problem, drug. You know, it's like, it's never going to solve the problem. So I invite you to go deeper. Read The Rain Barrel Effect, work with an integrative health practitioner, run the Big Five, whatever works for you, just go deeper because there's always an answer. And if we work on it now, well, the nice thing is this. We get a greater health span, which is the number of quality years in our life, the years that we actually enjoy pain-free. And there's also then, hopefully, longer lifespan as well. So I wish you and your families and loved ones all the best. Let my team and I know if we can help in any way. And of course, share this show with anyone you believe it could serve. Take care, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.